go. Tell me a little bit about yourself, Jordan.
Yeah, so my name is Jordan Thole. I'm a water resources engineer with a company called SEH, which stands for Short Elliott and Hendrickson, located here in St. Paul. Yeah, I guess what specifically would you like me to talk about a little bit more? I guess professionally or personally for the.
Well, we like to, talk about people's struggles and also like how they got into science. So how about you start off with like just telling us how you got into the sort of science that you are doing now?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, so I got into water resources engineering kind of on a sideways path, but I think that's how a lot of people wind up in the, in the end field that they start in. Going back, really, I think it probably started when I was in high school. I was working during the summers at a Boy Scout summer camp located just outside of La Crosse, Wisconsin. I started working in the nature center up there, teaching about environmental sciences, the environmental science, merit badge, erosion, sediment control, chemistry, were all things that we covered within that nature center. And I kind of got a passion while I was working there for environmental stewardship, and especially I was saying, kind of environmental chemistry, getting into that realm. And at the time, I had an older brother who's about 6 years older than me, or 5 years older than me, who was attending the University of Wisconsin-Platteville for mechanical engineering. And he pointed out, well, if you're interested in that sort of field, why don't you take a look at this new program that was still only a few years old at the time at Platteville for environmental engineering, which is kind of how I wound up in school there. Really liked the program. I really liked what I was learning. Funny, at the time, I had every intention of going into wastewater engineering, dealing with sanitary sewers and particularly wastewater treatment plants. And as I started going through the course load, I started taking other classes, again, in things like environmental chemistry, freshwater biology, process geomorphology, more the outdoor kind of natural sciences. And I really liked how that fit in with these fluid hydraulics classes, the really kind of hardcore nerd science part of the degree. Yeah. And really kind of fell in love with water resources and water resource engineering. So that led me to where I'm at today. So
that's actually really cool. A lot of people do have like a lot of very unexpected routes when they're in college. So that's really cool that that's kind of the route that you ended up on. So what would you say was like kind of like a struggle for you all throughout your journey to where you are now?
Yeah, I think one struggle for me, and it sounds like an odd struggle sometimes when I say it out loud, but I always had pretty good grades through high school and start of college, but I would say I wasn't always the best student, which is some of that it just some of that I just did well and it came naturally to me. But I think college, as it is for a lot of people, was a little eye-opening where, for the first time, it wasn't something that you could just breeze through and still get an A in the class. Mm-hmm. And dealing with those harder math classes and harder sciences really forced me to change who I was as a student. I really have to start buckling down and becoming better at studying and really pushing myself in that way. Obviously, it worked out well. I graduated, but that was I think a difficult piece for me. And then along with that, I think the first time I really struggled in college was with some of the more advanced math. Things had always been easy to me when I could picture something and I could see it. and know what I was calculating. But by the time you get into, Calc 2 and Calc 3 and differential equations, I had no idea what I was trying to account for anymore. And I really struggled with that. So.
Yeah, I can definitely agree with you there. Speaking of someone who's currently living that a little bit right now in college. So what would you say to anyone who wants to go into your field, or maybe even like a younger you?
Yeah, I mean, I guess first and foremost, as I was just talking and complaining about some of those math classes that I struggled with, I think I would tell people, because we hear it a lot, I think, from people who want to go into STEM, that they don't want to deal with the math. They're scared about the math. And yes, it is daunting, especially when you're first looking at that course load, but I would tell people to not be too afraid of it. Once you get into it, you're going to realize that almost everybody has to study and really work hard at it. And you're going to wind up in classes with a lot of like-minded individuals who are going to be willing to work with you and help you learn through all of that. So while it's scary, don't let it hold you back. You'll figure it out. I think that the other thing I would really recommend, and I think that really helped me, especially nearing graduation, is, if you're interested in a specific field, whatever you're going into, in my case, engineering, reach out to, either recent graduates or people who have experience in that field, and just talk to them. Honestly, most of us are really happy to share our experiences and talk to you about that, and let you know kind of how we got where we're at, and maybe what you should try to pursue if you want something similar. But there's a lot of excellent mentors kind of all across all spectrums that are more than happy, I think, to share their interest with new graduates or soon to be graduates.
Yeah.
To help them out too as they're entering the workforce.
Oh, awesome. Unless you have any other last comments, I think we're basically good. Unless, Beth, do you have any other questions that we should touch on?
Nope. Short and sweet is good. Thank you for your time today, Jordan.
No problem, Beth. Thanks, MJ.
Thank you.